Our agency takes pride in serving our community. These awards are due to acts in the line of duty, or some that you'll see that happened off duty where our officers happen to be spontaneously there, and they're submitted by either a supervisor or a peer for the actions that an officer does in the line of duty. Officer Ed Ryan is our Officer of the Year for 2022. The Officer of the Year, again, is selected by a peer panel. There's a vote by the peers where we narrow it down to 3 officers.
It's an amazing honor. Bloomfield Township is a great place to work, and I've enjoyed my time here immensely. And for my peers to bestow this honor upon me, I feel humbled. I enjoy the people I work with. You know, the people in Bloomfield Township are just great people, and the people I get to see every day coming to work, it's a great experience. I would just like to say thank you. Thank you for nominating me and choosing me to be Officer of the Year. I appreciate it.
Civilian of the Year is also peer chosen, and this year it just happens to be our social worker clinician that we hired back in 21. In that short 2 years, she's made a huge impact on our agency. It's Hillary Newsbaum.
I respond to mental health calls in the community with law enforcement, meaning I show up to scenes for welfare checks, family troubles, neighbor troubles, those types of calls. And I also do follow-up reports, so if police run into people in the community who need mental health services, then I can follow up with them later. It's a high honor for me. It was a surprise, and it means a lot. It just is a nice recognition that hopefully the work that I'm doing is making an impact.
Unit accommodation was a group of individuals work together collaboratively. That may be our detective bureau, that may be our patrol unit and our detective bureau, or all 3 phases of our agency, including dispatch, where they work collectively to solve a crime or make an apprehension.
I was in the detective bureau at the time, and I was on my way over to Troy to do an interview on an unrelated case when the information came out that there was some people in the backyard and a female knocking on the front door, which is pretty standard for daytime home invasions. So when dispatch put that information out and officers that were originally dispatched called out their locations, they were pretty far away, and I was actually right around the corner. So I showed up on scene, saw a Chevy Astro van, older model, parked on the road, called out the plate. It didn't come back to an Astro van, it actually came back to a Jeep. And then as I started walking up to the front door, I saw one person start running from the backyard of the residence and ran right into the Astro van.
And we got one more all black hoodie. He doesn't see me. He did drop some items when he was running from me.
I gave a small foot pursuit, wasn't going to catch up to him. He ended up getting in, and the van took off.
Running from the back of the address, 29th Street.
So I was on my way there, coming across Quarton Road.
Brown Astro van. Looks like a brown older model Astro van.
When he said the tan Astro van was fleeing the scene, I continued across Quarton Road.
They're going towards Manor. They're going toward Woodward now.
Across Woodward on the Big Beaver, and they pulled out right in front of me off of Brookdale.
I'm sorry, eastbound Big Beaver.
So I attempted to make a traffic stop on them, and they refused to pull over, and they started to flee from me. So I started to pursue them until it became unsafe. I terminated the pursuit, and then I tried to keep them in sight until we got into the city of Troy.
He crashed on Thorncroft.
The city of Troy took over the pursuit until they crashed and were taken into custody.
This one is a group effort. It actually involved Bloomfield Township Police Department and the city of Troy. So several officers from the city of Troy will be receiving awards as well. A Life Saving Award is for some act within the line of duty or off duty where you save somebody's life, whether it be a Heimlich maneuver, whether it be CPR, something that saves somebody's life.
It was just another normal evening. We were out celebrating an accomplishment for my son, and with my wife and some family, or other family and friends. And my wife noticed an issue with one of the other patrons at the restaurant who had fallen off his bar stool, and there was another individual there that was beginning to administer CPR on the person, and I went over and assisted in that. And thankfully, we were able to get a pulse back, and then the fire department arrived and took him the rest of the way.
Meritorious Service Award is presented to somebody to an officer or civilian personnel who either apprehended a criminal or prevented the loss of life or property.
Chris is getting the meritorious service today with a letter of recognition for me for a case that came through the Detective Bureau involving a stolen golf cart from a local country club here in the township. They reported that their golf cart was stolen the day prior, and they had a few photos of the suspect. Kind of where my role starts and ends is I took a look at that photo and I was actually able to identify that individual from a separate interaction, and I noted just a few very specific characteristics that I passed on to Detective Leganka to kind of help lead him to where he may be able to find some additional information.
I picked it up from there, and thanks to the information provided by Officer Soley, we were able to identify a possible location of the suspect, and through the continued investigation, I was able to meet with that individual and eventually recover the stolen golf cart.
The award I received was an award that was made especially for the cable studio because we made them some good recruitment videos. And then I got swept away by the police department, and we ended up making a felony arrest video that was recommended by the officers who wanted to do something exciting. Then we did also 5 profiles of officers who worked on midnight shift, which is where people usually start. So not only were the videos viewed 14,000 times organically on YouTube, but more importantly, they are attracting the right candidates. And one of the officers who was offered a job, when they asked him, why did you choose Bloomfield Township, he said that he had seen a press release that his aunt gave him, and then he did some research, looked at the website, found some videos, and that's what made him feel like this was a place for him.
Our officers are out there every day doing amazing things. Our dispatchers are answering phone calls and serving the residents every day doing amazing things. Our investigators are taking the information from patrol and following it up as far as they can go. Our civilian staff is out working every day, but when your own peers are the ones telling you that the job was done well, that something you did out there saved a life, prevented a crime, made a great apprehension of a suspect, there's just some internal feeling that we get from that to be recognized by our peers.